Linda is 68 years old. She worked for 46 years, first as a school cafeteria worker, then as a medical billing clerk. She raised three kids, paid her taxes, and never missed a mortgage payment until her husband got sick. Tonight, she will lock the doors of an old Chevy Express van in a Walmart parking lot outside Phoenix, Arizona, hang a blanket over the windows, and go to sleep. Linda is homeless. But if you asked her about that van, she would tell you something that stops most people cold. She would say, "This van saved my life." And she is not alone. Across America right now, on the edges of shopping center parking lots, at highway rest stops, on quiet side streets in Los Angeles and Seattle and Tampa, there is an entire hidden population living inside vans, minivans, old RVs, and even sedans. Nobody knows exactly how many, because official homeless counts are done by volunteers walking the streets at night, and a person sleeping behind tinted windows in a parked van is almost impossible to count. But the numbers we do have tell us the direction things are moving. The Department of Housing and Urban Development's most recent point-in-time count found more than 770,000 Americans homeless on a single night, the highest number ever recorded. And researchers studying the crisis keep landing on the same uncomfortable finding. The fastest growing group of homeless Americans is people over 55, the generation that built careers before smartphones existed, that was promised a modest but stable retirement, is now the generation most likely to be newly homeless. Social workers on the West Coast have started using a phrase that would have sounded impossible 30 years ago: the graying of homelessness. So how does it happen? How does a woman like Linda, with a work history longer than some of her neighbors have been alive, end up sleeping in a Walmart parking lot? The answer is arithmetic, and it is brutally simple. The average Social Security retirement check in America today is around $2,000 a month. Millions of retirees, especially widowed women who spent years out of the workforce raising children, receive far less than that: $1,400, $1,200, sometimes under $1,000. Now put that check next to the rent. The average one-bedroom apartment in the United States now costs roughly $1,400 a month, and in cities like Phoenix, Denver, or Sacramento, it is often much higher. In large parts of this country, the entire Social Security check disappears into rent before a single bill is paid, before a single bag of groceries is bought, before a single prescription is filled. For decades, the system held together because people had a paid-off house, or a pension, or a spouse's second check. Pull out any one of those supports and the whole structure leans. Pull out two and it collapses. A husband dies and the household loses one of its two Social Security checks overnight, while the rent stays exactly the same. A landlord sells the building, and the new owner raises the rent by $400. A heart attack arrives with a hospital bill that swallows the savings account whole. None of these people made wild mistakes. They just lived long enough for the math to turn against them. That is what happened to Linda. When her husband Ray was diagnosed with cancer, they burned through their savings in less than 2 years, even with Medicare. When Ray died, his Social Security check died with him. Linda was left with her own check, $1,100 a month, and a rented house that cost $1,300. She sold furniture, she skipped medications, she got a part-time job bagging groceries. At 66 years old, standing on a bad hip for 5-hour shifts, and she still fell behind. The eviction notice, when it came, was taped to the front door of the house where she had hosted 20 Thanksgivings. Here is the part most people never hear. Linda did everything you are supposed to do. She called the county housing office and was told the waiting list for senior housing assistance was years long, and in her area, it wasn't even accepting new names. She called shelters and learned most were full, and the ones with space felt unsafe to a woman her age. Her kids were scattered across the country, drowning in their own mortgages and daycare bills. And Linda, like so many parents of her generation, could not bring herself to become what she called a burden. So she took the last $4,000 she had in the world and bought a used cargo van from a plumber who was retiring. Her son-in-law helped her put a plywood platform in the back for a mattress. She packed her photo albums, her Bible, her late husband's flannel jacket, and a cooler. And on a Tuesday morning in October, she pulled out of the driveway of her old life and drove into a new one. The first night, she has said, was the worst night of her life. She parked at the far end of a Walmart lot because she had read online that many Walmart stores quietly tolerate overnight parking. She lay in the dark, listening to every footstep, every shopping cart, every car door, her heart pounding. She cried until almost 3 a.m. And then something small happened that changed everything. An older man walking a little dog past her van noticed the sunshade in her windshield and the blanket in her window, the quiet signals of someone sleeping inside. He didn't knock, he just left a folded note under her wiper blade. It said, "You're safe here. We look out for each other. Tap on the white RV if you need anything." That was the night Linda learned something she had never been told in 68 years of American life. She wasn't parked in a parking lot. She was parked in a neighborhood, an invisible one. Now let me introduce you to someone from that neighborhood, because his story explains a whole other side of this crisis. His name is Frank. Frank is 71. An Army veteran who spent his working life driving trucks across the interstate highways of the Midwest. 2 divorces, a back injury, and a bankruptcy left him at retirement age with no house, no pension, and a Social Security check that couldn't touch the rent in any city he knew. For almost a year, Frank slept in the cab of his old pickup truck behind a truck stop in Oklahoma, telling himself it was temporary. On any given night, more than 30,000 veterans in this country are homeless. Men and women who wore the uniform, sleeping in cars, under bridges, in the woods behind shopping centers. And here is the detail that haunts the people who work with them. A huge share of those veterans are entitled to benefits, pensions, disability compensation, housing programs, and medical care that they have never claimed. Some don't know the programs exist. Some tried once, got buried in paperwork, and gave up. Some are simply too proud to ask. Frank was all 3. It took a stranger at that Oklahoma truck stop, another former soldier, to sit in Frank's passenger seat with a cup of gas station coffee and walk him through what he was actually owed. Within a year, Frank had a disability rating, back pay he never expected, and enough monthly income to buy and outfit a proper camper van. He still lives on wheels today, but now it is a choice with a diesel heater, a small solar panel on the roof, and money in the bank. Frank says the saddest thing he sees on the road is not poverty. It is people sleeping in cars 50 feet from help they never knew how to reach. So what does daily life actually look like for people like Linda and Frank? Forget everything the movies taught you, because this life runs on systems, routines, and quiet discipline. Start with the most basic question everyone asks: where do you park? Experienced van dwellers rotate through a mental map of safe spots. Some Walmart lots and Cracker Barrel restaurants that tolerate overnight guests. 24-hour gyms and truck stops. Hospital parking areas where a van draws no attention because visitors come and go all night. Quiet industrial streets where nobody lives to complain. And out west, millions of acres of public land managed by the Bureau of Land Management, where camping in the desert is free and legal for up to 14 days at a time. The one unbreakable rule of this world is what nomads call being invisible. Arrive after dark, leave early, Never put a chair outside. Never give anyone a reason to look twice at your van. Then there is the shower problem, and the solution is so common it has become a running joke on the road. A basic membership at a nationwide gym chain costs about $10 or $15 a month and includes access to hundreds of locations with hot showers. For millions of vehicle dwellers, that gym card is not a fitness plan. It is a bathroom. Water comes from gallon jugs refilled at grocery stores. Food lives in a cooler or a small 12-volt fridge cooked on a single burner camp stove in the back doorway of the van. Mail goes to a mail forwarding service or a relative's address because in America, you cannot get a driver's license, a bank account, or even most benefits without an address, which means the moment you lose one, the system starts locking you out of the very help you need. And through all of it, there is the endless management of temperature. Summer in Phoenix can turn a parked van into an oven that kills. Winter in Denver can drop the inside of that same van below freezing by 2 in the morning. Van dwellers track weather forecasts the way stockbrokers track markets, migrating with the seasons, north in summer, south in winter, following 70 degrees across the map like birds. And underneath everything runs the budget, counted in single dollars. Linda can recite hers from memory. Gas is the biggest expense, so she drives as little as possible and stays parked for days at a time. The gym membership, the cheapest phone plan she could find. The mail service, propane for the little stove, laundry at the laundromat every other Sunday. Groceries are dried beans, rice, canned vegetables, eggs, and whatever the discount shelf offers that week. When it all goes right, she finishes the month with about $90 left over, which goes into an envelope marked repairs, because everyone on the road knows the repair bill is coming. The only question is when. If you are finding value in this story, let me pause for just a moment, because this next part might matter more than anything else in this video. Everyone you have met so far, Linda, Frank, the widows caravanning through the desert, says the same thing. They wish someone had handed them a road map before the eviction notice arrived, not after. So while researching this story, we put together a complete guide called the Veteran's Blueprint. It walks through exactly what to do if you are falling behind on rent, the assistance programs and benefits that millions of Americans qualify for and never claim, how to survive safely in a vehicle if it ever comes to that, and how to help a parent, a friend, or a neighbor who is already there. If money is getting tighter in your house every month, or you love someone whose money is, this guide could turn a crisis into a plan. You will find the link to the safety net blueprint in the description right below this video. One click, read it or send it to someone who needs it. The way one folded note under a wiper blade changed everything for Linda. Now, back on the road, because we have to talk honestly about the part of this life nobody romanticizes, the fear. Every van dweller knows it by the same name, the knock. It comes at 2 or 3 in the morning, knuckles on glass, a flashlight beam sweeping the curtains. Sometimes it is a police officer telling you to move along, and you drive off groggy into the dark, looking for another spot at 3 in the morning. Sometimes it is a security guard, and sometimes, on a bad night, it is someone with worse intentions, testing door handles in the dark. Women living alone in vehicles, and there are far more of them than anyone realizes, sleep with the keys in the ignition slot and their shoes on. Linda keeps an air horn next to her pillow and her phone charged to 100% every single night. Then there is the machine itself. When your home has an engine, a breakdown is a housing crisis. A failed transmission can cost $3,000, which might as well be $3 million when you live on $1,100 a month. Nomads speak of vehicle repairs the way farmers speak of drought, something that arrives without warning and can take everything. And winter is the season the road fears most. Every year, somewhere in America, A cold snap catches someone parked in the wrong place, an older man in a sedan in Minneapolis, a woman in an uninsulated van in Amarillo when the temperature drops to 9 degrees overnight. The experienced ones layer wool blankets, crack a window for airflow, and never ever run the engine all night with the window sealed because carbon monoxide has taken more nomads than crime ever has. Newcomers learn these rules quickly, or they learn them the hard way. And behind it all sits health. Arthritis climbing in and out of a van every day. Prescriptions kept cool in a cooler. The quiet terror of wondering who would even know if something happened to you in the night. Parked alone behind a hardware store in a town where nobody knows your name. This is exactly why the community matters so much, and why what has grown up in the American desert over the past 15 years is one of the most remarkable stories in modern America. Every January, tens of thousands of nomads pour into the tiny town of Quartzsite, Arizona, filling the surrounding desert with a temporary city of vans and RVs stretching to the horizon. Gatherings like the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, started by a former grocery clerk named Bob Wells, who lived in a box van himself after a divorce broke him financially, teach newcomers everything from solar power to safe parking, free of charge. Around 1,000 campfires in that desert, retired nurses trade tips with former truckers. Widows caravan together for safety. 3 or 4 vans traveling as a unit, checking on each other every morning. Some find seasonal work through programs that hire older nomads, staffing campgrounds in the summer, working harvests in the fall, earning a few $1,000s to patch the holes in their budgets. And people watch out for each other in ways that put many ordinary neighborhoods to shame. When one member of a desert camp near Ehrenberg, Arizona, had a heart attack a few winters back, other nomads drove him to the hospital, watched his dog for 3 weeks, fixed his brakes while he recovered, and had a hot meal waiting the day he came home to his van. Home in this world is not a building. It is the people parked next to you. Which brings us back to that strange, uncomfortable sentence that gives this story its name. These vans saved our lives. How can anyone call a metal box in a parking lot salvation? Because of what the van is being compared to. Nobody in this world compares the van to the house they lost. They compare it to the sidewalk, to the shelter cot next to strangers, to the tent under the overpass. A van has a door that locks. It has a roof that keeps the rain off your photo albums and the wind off your face. It can move away from danger, toward warmer weather, toward a job, toward a grandchild's town. It holds the last pieces of a former life, the flannel jacket, the good frying pan, the box of letters. For someone falling through every safety net America has, the van is the net that finally holds. It is the difference between being homeless and being houseless. And everyone who lives this way will tell you those are not the same thing at all. One is the loss of everything. The other is a hard life that is still, unmistakably, a life. Linda has now lived in her van for 4 years. She has a small solar panel, a memory foam mattress, and a group of 5 widowed women she caravans with from Arizona to Oregon and back every year. She video calls her grandchildren from national forests. She still cries sometimes, usually in October, the month she left the house. But she also says something that stays with everyone who hears it. She says, "I lost my house, but out here I found out I was never actually alone." Her story, and Frank's, and the thousands like them, leave us with a question that is bigger than any one van in any one parking lot. What does it say about the wealthiest country in human history that the people who spent 40 years building it are sleeping in parking lots, and that the most effective safety net many of them ever found was a used cargo van and the kindness of strangers parked nearby? There are no easy answers, but there is one thing every single person in this story agrees on. It could happen to almost anyone. One illness, one death, one rent increase away. So tonight, when you pass a quiet van at the edge of a parking lot with a sunshade in the windshield, you will know. That might be Linda. That might be Frank. That might be someone's mother, 68 years old, saying her prayers behind a blanket curtain, grateful for a locked door and a dry bed. Tell us in the comments, have you ever noticed the invisible neighbors in your own town? Or do you know someone living this life? We read every comment. And next week, we are telling the story of the seniors who work full seasons in warehouses and beat fields at 70 years old just to keep their wheels turning. Subscribe so you don't miss it.